I'm Matt Braunger. This might help.
I am not a doctor.
This might help.
I'm not a professional.
Let's have fun. This honestly is a good time.
Honestly, I got no idea what I'm doing. What's going on, Corey?
I'm Matt Braunger. This might help. The podcast.
Hey, gang. Welcome back to This Might Help with Matt Braunger, the only advice podcast or advice platform that has ever mattered. I'm excited because I have an old friend on who I haven't seen in a long time, who has a new album coming out very soon. It's one of the funniest comics out there. If you don't know her, you need to find out who this is. Carmen Lynch is here. How are you, Carmen?
Hi, it's so good to be here. The album came out, so you can say that it's out.
Oh, sweet. It's out.
Yeah.
And what is it called?
It's called Vertically Obese.
Yes.
But some people don't understand it's because I'm tall, because I'm
Yeah.
6 feet. They're like, why is it called that? And then they
Uh-huh.
get it. Because
I was going to mention that.
My joke, well, you're tall, you get it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Yeah, you're vertically obese.
Yes, I am. I totally
Welcome
am.
to the club.
Yes. Did you find it awkward? Did you become tall very young?
Yeah, I
Or-
was always tall. I was always in the back of the line. I remember the teacher was like shortest to tallest, and it was just me and a bunch of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But back when boys had cooties, so it wasn't like it was fun. I didn't feel like the town slut. I felt like I didn't want to be there.
It wasn't an empowering hot thing.
No.
No. Yeah. I think about that because my wife and I are gonna have a daughter in under a month now, and she'll
Congrats,
probably
that's
be pretty.
awesome.
I'm psyched, but she'll probably be pretty tall, and so I think about that. It's whether how if that'll be something that's hard for her, but it's just that thing where you kind of you gotta let the person be the person.
Now, how tall is your wife?
She's probably about 5'6", I think.
Okay, so yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
good
Yeah,
genes. Yeah.
She's up there. Her sister is my height, almost.
Holy
So,
cow, yeah.
Her sister's son is like he's a little over 1 year old and he looks 5. Like he's so big. It's
He's like 5 feet tall. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I was tallish growing up, but then I kind of shot up in like high school, I think was my thing.
Did you know, have you seen pictures of Barron, Trump's son?
Yes.
He's 14 and he's like 6'2" or something crazy.
Mm-hmm. Someone very funny, I don't know who it was, pointed out that Barrett looks like what Trump lies and says he looks like. That's
Yeah.
what he's because he's like, Barron is slim and very square jawed and tall, has good posture. He's just,
And he doesn't look arrogant yet. He still
No.
looks like he might be an okay guy.
thank God, yeah, like the other sons
Yeah.
who have just probably like not that like all straight white dudes. Apologies to my brethren out there. We have almost all of the unearned confidence. I think the other two sons have as much as the rest of us collectively. If you know what I
Yes.
mean.
Yeah, for no reason. I mean,
None.
if Trump yelled at them growing up, why are they so cocky?
Right. Just no self-awareness. Well, what were your parents like or are like?
Well, my mom is 5 feet. Now she's 5 feet. She was probably 5'2" growing up.
Okay.
And she's from Spain. So she's,
Mm-hmm.
her whole side of the family is super tiny. I tower over all of them
Right.
and it never gets old for them. It gets old for me, but they're
Mhm.
like, oh, I can't, and I'm like, I was like this last time I saw you, and then
Yeah.
my dad is 6'2" and he's from New York.
Okay.
So clearly, I got his side,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
now I'm taller than him. He just turned 80 and I'm taller. So
Wow.
you're looking at the tallest Lynch of the family.
You did it. You made it. What? So
Yeah.
how long? Where did you start out? You started out in New York then.
Yeah, I started out in New York but by accident. I was here for acting and just to hang out with my friends. And I went
Wow.
to a show and I was like, this is a real job? Are you kidding? Like, I couldn't believe it.
Did you like? It's funny. I think we might have a similar superhero origin story because I grew up doing plays and went to college for acting and like I got into improv in Chicago and then just started doing stand up and was everything clicked into place and you're like, oh, it can just be me. and for
yeah, it was so liberating to be like, wait, acting requires like a resume and someone to say yes to you, you know, and here you just kind of just, well, I want to go to an open mic tonight in my pajamas, and it's okay.
Exactly. It's that I was always that person who could be counted on if someone's pants like ripped and they had to put them back on and run off stage. I could fill the time like in character. You know, I always had that skill, and it's kind of like that's all stand-up is, because you'll be in the middle of telling a joke you've done 1,000 times and someone will barf in the audience, or like, you know, something where you're like, well, I can't keep going with this now, I have to talk about this, you know, like and I feel like no place teaches you that better than New York. Doing stand-up. I'd say maybe Chicago, where I started out, but New York is one of those things where things not only happen, they happen at twice the rate of other locales in America, I feel like.
Yeah,
So
and it's good too, because if I figured if I don't do this, it's still a cool city, you know?
Yes.
And I still had the brain, like the thoughts of what I was supposed to do, which is like a traditional job. So, you know, like I worked at Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch and all those places just to like, you know, fool my parents.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure. Yeah. Did you have the kind of push and pull of kind of commerce versus your dreams when you were there?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I wasn't even like a banker or anything, but I just wanted to be able to support myself without asking them for money.
Yeah.
But even when I did lose the job due to the first financial crisis of our generation, I was still like, wait, shouldn't I wear a suit? And, you know, and then my brain's like, no, you're literally nothing but a comic right now. And then wearing jeans every day was like so fresh. It was so crazy.
It's the best. I lucked out that I never really had any. I was always a waiter or a bartender, and then I was a PA, and then I was I was a closed captioner for the hearing impaired. Whereas I had to wear like a button-up shirt, but you know, jeans every day and stuff like. So I lucked out that I never had that. I always feel if I'm not celebrating, like if I don't have a drink in my hand or something, I always feel silly in a suit. I don't think I look bad in them, but just that kind of thing is, I never was that guy who was just like, I wear a suit when I'm working. Me and Sinatra, we're like this. That's not really a thing I have. Do you?
Yeah, I wish I had burned all my suits. I'm sure I just gave them away to the Salvation Army. But I hated them so much. And then getting on the subway, and I don't know if it's a tall thing. I don't know if you experience this, but I've always been like very hot, like sweaty hot.
Oh yeah.
And then I get to work and I'm like in this suit and it's like polyester because it's cheap.
Yes.
You know, and then some places were like, you have to wear pantyhose. And I'm like, what am I doing?
And people, first off, talk about oppression. Pantyhose, the worst thing, heat trapping, horribleness. Pointless. They make women less attractive. Even as a child, you know, born in the 70s.
Especially nude pantyhose.
Why? Just have nude legs and maybe not nude crotch or feet. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm sure you're like me, where if I saw someone who was wearing a suit a lot, even in a movie or a TV show, like Cops in the Sun, there's a murder off the highway in Arizona and they're in suits, I just would squirm. Like, what? Why? Take your coat off. And they just
look like douchebags to me now. Like, unless you're going to like a funeral or a wedding, just a suit just looks like, get out of your suit, you little arrogant asshole.
Yes. It's so wild, you know? I feel like even agents are kind of like, I feel like agents probably like 10 years ago kind of ditched the ties at least.
Yeah.
You know, but they still have to wear the fitted suits and stuff, and they still end up looking silly at 3 a.m. at festival after hours places.
Yeah. Oh God.
Just relax. It doesn't matter. You know?
So many bad memories from that, but you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever.
Well, you have a very sardonic comedy style. It's very matter of fact. Like, you don't, it doesn't seem like it seems like all your stuff comes from a place of truth, which I always really dug.
I mean, I think so. I mean, it definitely starts at a truth and then it gets really weird.
Sure.
and most of the punchlines are not true.
Right.
But
We all
I
exaggerate.
would hope not, because they sound more like fairy tales than like reality.
Yeah,
but the beginning, I have to, because I'm like, where else am I going to start from?
Well, it's wild to me, and I've brought this up with other comics. When anyone goes like, "Nick, you told that story? Did that happen?" I'm like, yeah. I'm not going to be like, this happened and make up some bullshit. Like something like I stole a horse. Like I wrote, oh, that'd be funny if that happened. I'm going to lie and say that's true. Why?
No, and I used to do a lot of jokes about traveling, and then I had one about India, and it was very specific, and then sometimes people would come up to me and be like, that wasn't true, right? And I'm like, I would never even dare make up something about India if I didn't know anything about them.
Never.
Who's got the balls to do that? To just be like, well, let me just make this shit up.
Or to me, it's almost like, the old thing, like, don't lie, that way you don't have to remember anything.
Right.
Like, I don't want to get caught like in a lie, like the same way, like by a cop. Like, where were you? I'm going to tell you right where I am, or I was. I didn't do it. Like, I don't want to get caught up in a lie 10 questions down the pike.
Yeah, I've always had a fear of forgetting jokes. It's always up until I had enough time to do 1 hour, and then I was like, less afraid, because if I forgot something, something else comes in. Yeah. But I remember at the beginning, I was so scared that I would just stand up there and have nothing to say. And then, of course, your fears, if you think about them enough, they come true.
Of course, they manifest.
Yeah. And I was just like, I remember this is back when I was first when I first did stand up. Mm-hmm. But that was my biggest fear. So I can't imagine making something up, because then I wouldn't know where to go with that.
No, absolutely not. Why would you do that to yourself and kind of build that house of cards that you're constantly dreading someone kicking over at some point? Yeah. Like, have you gotten, I won't even say younger comics or older comics, but comics or other asking you for advice because you kind of have I would say an air of authority on stage?
Oh, wow. Thanks. I mean, I don't feel like I have an air of authority, but I think it's just feeling your comfort level, because I think I seem deadpan, because I don't feel like I'm really deadpan in real life.
Right.
I'm more deadpan on stage. And I think that comes from this organic, when I first started, to just be like, all right, what makes you relax? Just be still. Mm-hmm. Just be still, and I think it probably came from that, because as I do it more and more, it's getting weirder and sillier.
Sure.
There's no way I would have done that at the beginning. I would have been way too scared.
I kind of went the other way, where I was like, oh no, you're not going to scare me, I'm going to scare you. And so I was very loud. I would punctuate with big noises and things, and I was kind of a whirlwind and stuff. And you kind of go, well, you examine it and go, what are you covering for? I'm exaggerating, because it's like that was always the kind of actor I was. Like, I would always play to the back row, the top of the act and things. But you don't have to, because everyone's there in a room and you have a mic. It's not, you're not in your high school auditorium with no lav pinned to your period piece jacket or anything like that. There's no.
Yeah, I still get people who like come to a show from like high school or college, who like I don't even talk to anymore. They just happen to see it on Facebook or in their local paper, and they're like, wait, I know a girl with that name. Let me see if it's her. And they're like, I can't believe you do stand up.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't believe it either.
Yeah, that's same. I don't know where I would have ended up. I would have been doing something performative, but I don't know if I would have nailed this. I was definitely like the class clown, but but who knows? I knew, there were like I remember George Carlin had that bit. There wasn't only one. There were 5 or 6 of us. If Louis was, or Joey or whatever was sick, second banana would fill in. Like,
right.
There's always wacky people in every classroom just trying to get attention.
Yeah.
So you
basically look at us now. What?
But you have right. We're so different.
Look at us now in our apartments doing comedy and Zoom.
Look at this. Wow. So what are you ready to give some advice to some randos?
Oh yeah, I would love to give some advice that probably won't help.
No, that's what I see. The thing is that the name of this podcast is a joke. It used to be called Advice from a Dipshit, which was too far. Just a bridge too far.
Because
Just
any advice is still advice.
It
right.
is, and I'm not really a dipshit. It was a funny title to me, but this is kind of like, I don't know. This might help. It might. I don't know. It's might. Emphasis on might. I'm not. I can't. Anyone who's made a career out of being any sort of expert, my hat's off. But good fucking luck, because, boy, I can't imagine. Being.
Yeah, any therapy is good therapy. Is therapy? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you side note? Do you go to therapy?
Yes, I do. I've been with the same woman for over 12 years.
Wow. Awesome.
Isn't that crazy? And when I first went, I went for this fear of commitment. I had this just horrible, after 3 months, I would just cut it off.
Sure. Sure.
And then I was in a relationship that I wanted to pursue, and I was like, something feels wrong. I like this guy, but I want to never see him again. And so I went to a therapist, and she goes, can you commit to me? Can you commit to me? And I was like, yeah, you're not a guy. And she goes, can you commit to me for 6 months? And I was like, is that all that it's going to take to fix me?
Wow.
And now it's 12 years.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm on my second therapist, but he and I have been together for six years now, I think.
Yeah.
But my first one, she just kind of, I never had anything negative to say about me, which I was like, no, hold on. And I have problems, but I had big problems back then. At least I felt emotional.
Yeah.
Like that, where I was just like, I remember literally at one point going, I feel like an asshole because I feel like no one's good enough. And she's like, well, maybe no one is. I need to leave right now.
You're like, I know I pay you, but come on.
Come on. And I know what she meant. Maybe who I've met, but it was just my other problem is I was just bouncing around from person to person. It was I've tried a lot of the salad bar, miss, if you know what I'm saying. So there's got to be, this isn't a guy who's only been on 2 dates here, So when she was like, maybe no one is, in my head, I was like, I got to switch. I need someone else.
Yeah. It's hard to find a good one out, but they're out there.
Absolutely. It's hard to find the one that works for you that really you can stand, and it's not their fault. It's just, what you can live with. The
worst part is when you're shopping for a therapist and after 3 minutes, but you have to wait that other 47 minutes.
Uh-huh.
You're like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Great. Yes.
Bye.
Yeah. You just want to fake a heart attack. When they run for help, you go out the window. Too dark?
Well, yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go to the first one. Roll the first call, Renee.
Hey, Matt. Got a question for you. I have sort of definitely had feelings for one of my best friends for a few years now. At this point in time, he is amicably separated from his wife. And I am currently single. We spend a lot of time together. We go on day trips and stuff, and he's just always been there for me anytime I've needed a shoulder or just needed practical help or just needed a friend. I really want to tell him how I feel. But I'm scared too because I'm not sure that he feels the same way. He is still seeing the same person he started dating right before quarantine started. And they're not officially a couple. I don't think they're even quarantining together, whereas he and I were actually quarantining together for a little bit. But yeah, I'm really afraid of ruining the friendship if I say something and it turns out that he doesn't feel the same way. And I wonder if I should try and say something before he and this girl become more serious, or if it's already too late for that and it would be disrespectful to do so. So yeah, hope you can help. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for calling. You got first crack, Carmen. Take it away.
I mean, my first instinct is to say that COVID makes everything weird, and it's very hard to figure anything out at this point.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of unfair to the guy. We don't really know how it went with that other girl during COVID. A lot of people are either making it or breaking it at this point with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would kind of just like I would try and wait and see if things get better in the world before I drop something so huge.
Yeah, interesting.
Right now, you know?
That's, you know what, it's funny. I didn't even, I love doing this show with other people because like that kind of maybe crossed my mind, but didn't. You know, my feeling is she has to tell him at some point because it's going to eat her up. And
it will.
I've had a lot of people who are like, you know, I'm in love with my best friend, and she sounds like she's in love with this guy. And, you know, like he's getting divorced. He had someone. He's at least hooking up with someone right now. And she's, you know, and it's like I have strong feelings. Like, okay, you're in love. All right, you know, and it's gonna eat you up, and you can't be that. I mean, really, are you just going to put your happiness on the back burner and hope for someone else to? I feel like when people are like, I don't want to ruin the friendship, it's ruined. It
is ruined already, and
it's ruined in your heart. But that said, I think your advice comes first, and it was perfect because I think maybe she should. I hate to say put it on the back burner, but like maybe you should for now, just for timing's sake. But to have that thing. That you're I always say like what the thing that keeps us going is to have something to look forward to. Right now it's a vaccine and seeing our loved ones again, but you know, another one for her could be I'm gonna tell Dennis that I have these feelings, you know.
Great name.
I'm gonna tell, you know, my true love Amaretto Steve that I just thought I'd whip out something absolutely
better. I like that.
Thanks. It's his nickname.
Yeah, it's tough because part of me is like, I'm kind of glad he's with someone else because I feel like sometimes guys need I mean, we all need a rebound. Of
course.
But I mean, I would hate for her to be the rebound.
Oh, no.
You know? And there's another part of me that is like, I want to know, is he giving her any kind of signs that he's interested? Because, you know, men could also approach the guy is he giving her, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
He can't be like, oh, of course I want to date you. I mean, if he's not giving her anything,
sure,
maybe that's a sign.
But I will say, as one who used to do that, he might be giving her mixed signals because look, everybody likes attention. Everyone likes to be looked at in a flattering light. And when you have someone who's very friendly and has a crush on you and is a member of the opposite sex, even if you have no intention with that person, sometimes we string them along. Sometimes we kind of are just like, oh, they say nice things every time I see them. I just love, like, they're so happy when I'm around. It makes me feel good about myself. And you never admit that to yourself, but you just kind of live that way. That's why, you know, I think sometimes we're being assholes and not realizing it in a way. So maybe he might be showing these signs, but not feel that way. But maybe he does feel that way. But yeah,
and you guys, men, I feel like are way better at compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
Like as a woman, I know if something that deep is bothering me, I do have to say something or I have to find out, you know? Whereas like, I feel like guys are like, all right, well, let me just move on with this girl, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah. And it's tough because, you know, some guys really do not like when a woman comes on to them, you know, even if it's just like, hey, just by the way, I think you're pretty great. It's just like, whoa, I was supposed to do that. You're supposed to just be demure and I come over, you know, and like I say I was never like that, but if I'm honest, I'm not sure which way I was or one way or the other. I definitely liked the attentions of a woman kind of like that. But, you know, if someone kind of just spills the beans, like say like Meg Ryan would in a rom-com, she's like, hey, what's up? I like you. What do you feel? You know, I had my friend April Richardson said she did that with a couple guys and it kind of scared them off. And in the end,
totally
she's better off for that because that's who she is.
Right.
You know?
Better to know soon.
Yes.
If it's eating her up inside, she's going to have to ask. But then she mentioned that she quarantined with him, right? Didn't she say that?
Right.
So I'm like, did something not happen during that time? That would have been a perfect time. But maybe she doesn't want to do something physical. Because I know if I like someone and then I don't bring it up and I do something physical, I would like them like 100 times more. You know?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. It's better for me to be like, oh, you don't like me? I'm so glad I didn't hook up with you.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely for sure. When you've been that intimate with someone and you're just like, oh, wait. Oh, I was just a hookup.
Yeah, that would hurt so bad, especially if I'm in love with the guy and he's my best friend.
Yeah. And you've been naked together. It just crushes your heart that much more.
And you never want to see me naked again. Oh, that's like a fucking dagger in my heart.
It's so brutal. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny when she said that it didn't sound like they had been together. I think she would have said that. You know?
Yeah.
The great thing about this show is that it's all anonymous, so people can kind of say whatever. I think she would have been like, "Well, we did hook up once," or whatever.
That would be awesome if that was like the new way to say hook up. It was like we quarantined together.
Yes, or the Jada Pinkett Smith thing when we became entangled. Like,
oh yes.
These terms, God. I've been laughing over my friend Mike, and he said this just to be an idiot, but it is the grossest term there is. He was like, his girlfriend had gotten a COVID test and she's negative, and I was like, awesome. Are you gonna get a test? And he's like, what? No, we've made love. And he said that to make me laugh, but it's like it is that's the grossest one, I think, of all the euphemism for sex, because it's just so,
it is. Yeah, I was at a party once, and this older couple, I knew the guy just from like work or something. And I remember he introduced me to his girlfriend, and he in a very straight face, he just said, "And this is my lover." And I was like, oh, so gross.
So gross. I used to say, it's so our parents, it's our parents' generation that made love. We had sex.
Ew. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross. Even as a kid, I used to say it when I was learning language. I would say they made sex, and my mom would be like, "No, that's not how you say it." She said make, and I'm like I can't even say it again. I can't. I've said it like 3 times. I won't say it anymore.
Yeah. That's gross.
It's so bad. But okay, to the caller, I think the 1-2 punch we gave her is great. I think. Yeah. I honestly think she has to tell him, or she's going to just burn inside forever. It sucks.
But also,
wait.
We can tell her to be prepared with the results, because it's going to be hard if it's bad, but I think it's going to be especially hard in the quarantine, because I feel like everyone's a little lonely right now.
Yep. I mean, look, if they come out tomorrow and they're like, we got the vaccine, you won't have it until 2022. Fuck it, tell him, but
yes.
If we can somehow squash this thing even close to how New Zealand did it, and it's not going to look like that anytime soon. But I think you're right to kind of just like keep it in your secret place for a little while.
And keep going out, because the right guy's out there if it's not this guy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great point. You shouldn't be pining. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. She shouldn't be just like, there's only one. I'm just waiting for my moment.
I know they're wearing masks, but there's a lot of good ones under the mask.
Exactly. Right.
So.
And you could still bump uglies with a mask on.
Totally.
I don't know. I'm not saying do that. Do people do that? Is that what's happening?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. Are you
they're drinking disinfectant. What?
What's your status? Are you married? Are you dating someone?
I've been with my guy for almost 5 years. We live together.
Great. Okay, cool. Okay, good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, when I said, are people doing that? I wasn't specifically asking you. I was kind of...
Right. No, I figured. I know you meant like the general public.
Do you just go to like the public park like the gays used to back in the 80s? Or how are you hooking up, Carmen?
I was like, what?
No, I'm joking.
What?
Like that's what I meant.
But I've seen people in the park when I go jogging.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
they're wearing masks. Most of them are wearing masks.
My favorite of all time was a friend saw in Griffith Park a man just walk out of a hedge in a full suit, just hooked up with a dude, just getting off and going to his car. I was like, oh, God bless you, sir. I heard that story.
Wow. In a suit. That's hard too. Like
Yeah.
keeping it looking nice and fresh and not wrinkled.
He went like full werewolf, like tore off his suit with another fella and got it back on and went to close on escrow somewhere, I think. Whatever that means. Okay. You ready for the second call?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, Matt. So I had a really bad case of hiccups all throughout the night, kept me up all night. The fuck is up with hiccups, man? What are we supposed to do about this? And why hasn't medical science figured something out about, like, how we can help people that has this happen to them? Okay. Love the show. Later, brother.
Thanks, man. That sounded hardcore. Like
I can't tell if that's a joke or if that's real.
I think it's real. I get all kinds of call. You know, we have one like a very complicated one, like the one before. Like you don't want this person to give their heart away easily. Protect yourself. Is this guy being a good person? Blah blah blah. This one's cut and dried. This is just simple guy furious to the level of almost shooting himself in the esophagus over his hiccups. Like that, the fuck is like that deep throated. It sounded like he's talking to a guy who keeps throwing his waste over the fence into his yard. Like where you're like, hey, stop. And they do it a fifth time. You're like, the fuck is like that, are you serious? Like he's so angry. He was probably
I was hoping we could hear a hiccup just to get an idea of like the depth of it, you know?
Right. Well, I know how to get rid of hiccups are basically an air bubble trap in your chest, I think. And they happen when you are, have been drinking too fast or you've been drinking a lot of alcohol, like people who are, you know, that habitually drink a lot of alcohol, they often get hiccups out of nowhere and kind of have this almost a Pavlovian thing with their throat. When they get a hankering. But the way to get rid of hiccups, it sucks, but you just have to hold your breath until you literally are in horrible pain, until like your head, like your chest hurts, everything. And then you let this wind out and then you hope and pray they're gone. And that
worked for you. Yeah. See, I grew up with, I don't know if this is a Spanish thing, but I grew up with, if you get hiccups, you have to scare the shit out of someone. That
works too.
So I remember, you know, and you know that someone's about to scare you because you have the hiccups. So it never works.
No.
But the other way that really works, for me at least, is to drink water upside down or drink any. Do you ever do that one?
Oh, yeah. It never worked for me.
Okay.
But yes, I know that is a method. Maybe that works for some people. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. But
well, it's hard to do because you have to hold your glass kind of upside down too. So, well, we can tell this guy to try it, but to do it on a carpet that's like not his favorite carpet.
And honestly, dude, next time you have the hiccups, what you have to do, if you're with people, you need to go around the corner, like the side of the house where people are not going to interrupt you because it's going to take a couple tries. And just sit down and just hold your breath.
Yeah.
Until you feel like you're dying. That's the only time it's worked for me. And it sucks. It feels like one of those things where it's just like, oh, do push-ups till you can.
Yeah.
Like it's like, it's a pain in the butt.
I think you should try all three at the same time. I think hold your breath, have someone scare you, and drink water upside down. And if you don't die, well, if you die, at least you stop the hiccups.
Simultaneously do all those things. Yeah. So yeah, and I hiccups might be something other than that. I mean, it's funny. My kid has hiccups occasionally in like the womb, and
wow,
it's been like this tapping thing where we contacted the doctor just via like this DM thing on the hospital system.
Yeah.
And she's like, are these hiccups? And she's like, oh no, that's a good sign. That means the kid's trying to breathe, but keeps swallowing like the fluid, which is fine.
Yeah.
But that weird, like as you grow, your instinct to breathe. So it's just like, this kid is trying to breathe water. So it's like, you know, and then she'll stop. So it's a natural thing. Yeah, it's pretty adorable, but it's you know, that's a little FYI for people.
Yeah, yeah, that's cute. Yeah. I didn't know babies could hiccup. I just figured if they moved, it was gas. Right. But it's similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly couldn't. I didn't know what it was. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully that helps you, man.
Hopefully that guy will live.
I think I just picture him in bed trying to sleep, and hiccups keep waking him up. It's probably those hiccups that like aren't constant, so he keeps drifting off. Like throws a pillow.
Yeah, the worst ones. Those really, really powerful ones. Oh. Those are awful. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that like echo off the walls.
That like make you like jolt up. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm with that dude. Like hiccups are the worst. I hate them so much. Oh, so bad. Okay, so let's hear our third and final caller. You ready?
All right, this is fun. Yeah.
Oh, good. Glad you like it.
What's up? This is Mike from a mid-tier American city. My question for advice is, how do I make friends but not actually friends with my neighbors? I live next to two 30-somethings that are about the same age as myself and my partner, and they live next to us for about a year, and I don't want to be friends with them or hang out or anything, but I do want them to smile and wave at me. I have tried this for over a year, and they refuse to make eye contact. This wasn't a big deal when we weren't all stuck at home, but now that we're home all the time, we see these people constantly. They refuse to wave, refuse to smile, refuse to say, hello, neighbor, or even give a nod. How do I convince them to be just, friendly or polite? Thanks. Bye.
Wow. I have to say, I've noticed that since COVID too. I think some people take social distancing as antisocial distancing.
Yes. Yeah. And I think I will throw this to you because you are a New Yorker, so you're very close to people, I'd imagine. You live in the city, yeah?
Yeah, I live, I mean in the boroughs in Queens, but
yeah. Yeah. But it's that thing of, I feel like some people is first thing, I'll just say this and I'll throw it to you, but I think a lot of people have that thing of, just because we're close doesn't mean I want to communicate on the level of, when you've hooked up with somebody and then they won't talk to you because they're afraid you want more than that.
Right.
It's a weird analogy.
Yes, but it's true.
But it's that thing where it's just where you're like, look, I'm not going to ask you for a cup of salt or sugar.
Especially now with COVID, they're not going to ask him for anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what would you say?
I mean, I almost want to be like too kind and kill them with kindness. And if I'm like, hey, Joe or whatever, the next time I'd be like, hey, Joe, like almost like go too far. But it really sounds like it's their problem. Like,
yeah.
Like, why bother? Why would you want them to say hi if they sound like they might be assholes?
I'm going to throw out a conspiracy theory, and I wonder if you caught it too.
Okay.
He said mid-tier. So I'm imagining, maybe Midwest or Southern.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he mentioned his partner. So I imagine.
Yeah. Oh.
That didn't cross your mind at all?
It did for a second, but I didn't put it together. It was just very separate thoughts.
But the reason why I think it's conspiracy theory is I really think he would have said so. I think he, people know when they're being discriminated against. People
but even more of a fuck you to them then. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, if it is that, but he didn't mention
it is that. Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think it is because I think he would have said so.
Right.
I think they're just kind of just basic bitches, this couple. I think they're basically just like, the kind of people that you'll be hiking and they're hiking toward you. You're the only ones in the fucking woods.
Yeah.
And you're like, you make a point to nod morning and they don't say anything. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, say hello. I don't want anything from you. I'm greeting you as a fellow human being, you know?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
could just
yeah.
be those people that are just like, they don't want to ever take the steps to get involved. You know, I had a friend's relative's wedding that I went to, and they were so, like, I'd gone to keep this person company, didn't really know anyone, but like I made a point to be like, hey, congratulations. They were kind of like, thanks. I'm like, you know what? I would rather be at a bar.
I take it back, okay? I take my congratulations back.
You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like some people have that thing where they just cannot. They're like, I have my circle of friends and that's it. I don't see the point in being nice.
Yeah.
You know, like, what? They could just be that. So, I mean, I honestly like your advice of just being like, you know, like their neighbor's name is like, you know, Fred or something. And just like, wait, Fred, what's up, man? How are you? You good? You know, just be that guy. Just make them
force them, but maybe just once. I mean, don't do that every time.
No.
But it would be fun for, you know, just for your own sake of humor, just to like make yourself laugh. Just be like, hey, Fred, what's up? Yeah, good morning, nice day, huh? How's the dog? Yeah, like something stupid like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just go all in once. Don't.
And if he doesn't react, he's a robot. He's an alien or something.
Honestly, if you greet them by name, wave, and just say hello, how are you today? Just not even screaming something, just maybe a little loud, and they still kind of tuck and run. I would just laugh out loud as hard as you can. Just laugh. Yeah. Just laugh. Just make them feel silly for how they're acting, because that's ridiculous. You know, or
come out, or say something like, I agree, totally true, or something like almost like you're having a conversation, or like imitate, good morning, Steve, like say it back to you like you're Steve, you know?
Show them how to be an adult.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's important to kind of make them, like you said, kill them with kindness, but make them feel as awkward as they've made you feel.
And then throw a big party. Well, maybe after COVID, throw a big party and don't invite them.
No, never.
Just invite everyone in the neighborhood, but them. Yeah.
Oh my God. If you just gave a hand embossed, like, happy vaccine, you know, come by after we all get dosed. Let's party. Every house on the block but them. That'd be amazing. I don't know. This guy sounds super chill. I would love to have them as neighbors. He seems like a nice guy. And he nailed it. I don't want to be their friends.
Yeah.
Great.
It's just like neighborhood, what's the word? Protocol. I don't know.
Yes.
Like.
Yes. We live next to each other. You can't change that.
You might need an egg one day, or you know, an extra lawn chair.
Yeah. Or someone, when you're out of town, might be breaking into your house, and I might see that. You know,
and I won't do a thing.
I will not do shit. I will tell them where the valuables are.
Yeah.
Like
in fact, I will help them.
I'll put on a mask and join.
Yeah.
My neighbors, all the houses around me, we all have each other's numbers. We have a text chain.
Yeah.
We just we let each other know what's up. Lately, I live in the end of a cul-de-sac, and we just, on Fridays, we take out our lawn chairs and sit there and have like glass of wine and hang out away from each other, far away, you know. So it's like, I am kind of friends with my neighbors, but I'm cool with it. They're good people. But even if they were introverts or weird, I would be like, I would still wave and you know, I don't call them or ask them for anything, but
even like the most introverted person still does a very uncomfortable you know.
Yeah, the passing, don't know if they're gonna smile.
Yeah, that's all. Just a little bit of
just a little look up past your eyelids and a nod.
Yeah.
Hey, there you are, person. That's all it is. It's invalidating when you wave or something and they don't wave back. You feel, it's like, really? Are we back to school dance days and no one will dance with me again?
Yeah.
This is happening again.
Bringing back bad memories.
Can I tell you what happened to me in 6th grade?
Oh, please.
It's marvelously horrible. It was my first like actual school dance, and this kid comes up to me. He's like, hey, this girl wants to dance with you. She told me to tell you. And I look across, pretty girl. And I start walking towards her. I cross the gym, you see. And there are people everywhere. It's not like boys on one side, girls. Everyone's dancing.
Yeah.
And I pass. I get close, and she looks up, and she looks at me, then looks at the kid that told me and goes, no. When I got close, she didn't even look at me and say no. I take it back. She looked at him and he's like, hey,
oh my
I'm like,
God.
I got the message.
Yeah.
It was, just like someone just crumpled me up.
Isn't that weird how those specific memories just stay with you until you die? Like, I remember the first guy that asked me to dance was short, and he was my friend, but I never ever put it together that he would ever even remotely be interested in me, because I was like, he's so much shorter.
Sure.
And when we danced, of course I said yes, because it was one of those like weird, awkward dances where the teachers tap you if you get too close.
Yeah, or they move boys' hands up off of girls'
Yes.
butts. Yes.
But his hands were in like weird places because of our height.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, is the song over yet?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God, the song's over, But I'll never forget that.
At the end of when you were dancing to, I'm assuming the Lady in Red, right? You were
probably something like that, yeah.
Did he whisper the I love you part?
Oh my God. I don't even think we looked at each other the whole time.
I'm joking. I'm just saying how if he just looked looked up and you're like, Steve, I don't like you like that.
It was like, all right, we're done. Let's go back to our corners.
Okay. Hey, good game. Good game, buddy.
Good game.
You have to forgive me if I don't pat you on the butt. Oh God. So, okay, let's plug your album before we go. Give us a little background about talk about it.
Okay, so COVID was already around, so it was late February. So it wasn't a pandemic. I don't think it was an official pandemic yet, but it was happening.
My last road gig was in March. So,
okay, no, I had one in March too, but this was my last comedy club gig, and it was at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington.
Oh, the best.
And I love that room.
The best.
And I know they had already they'd recorded a bunch of albums there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I asked Jared, the owner, I was like, can I please record, just the sound with the sound system there? And I hit record myself. It was just up on the wall. I recorded all the shows, and then I just put Saturdays on an album. And, once this really started to look like it wasn't gonna get any better, and I was like, well, thank God I recorded that. And then at the end, I added, because I do stand up in Spanish, so I added a set from a Spanish show I did at Gotham Comedy Club, which is in New York City, which you know. Yeah. So I added that as a little bonus track at the end.
I love that. That's so, and I really love the fact that you have a top to bottom set, because that's rare. Just for comedy listeners out there, a lot of them for albums will take, we'll Frankenstein it. We'll do, 5 gigs.
Oh yeah. I mean, there were a couple of jokes that I added from another, because it was 4 or 5 shows.
Yeah, sure.
But I was like, I didn't do that joke Saturday night, and I did it, Friday night.
Yeah, look, so if you didn't do it, then fine.
Then I just dump it in there. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's mostly Saturday.
That's why I love, I feel like pound for pound, the best my favorite stand-up album is still Skanks for the Memories, Dave Attell.
Me too. I love that one.
Because it's just, he's in front of an incredibly intoxicated crowd, and he's just, he will not stop. And it's just a set.
It's so good.
The whole album is one set. And so that's
just
awesome.
Him. Yeah, he's just so damn good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's awesome. So everybody check out Vertically Obese. And it's available everywhere. Okay, rad. And if you know Spanish, check out the last track. That's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, and then I have a podcast called The Human Centipod. And that's available everywhere as well. And that's me and my boyfriend just talking shit about life. And I love it. That's fantastic. Well, cool. So everyone check out The Human Centipod, and also get Vertically Obese. Carmen, thank you for coming on. This was a blast. Thank you so much. That was so fun. Oh, so glad you can make it. Hey, thanks for listening to This Might Help. If you need advice or just want to talk or just tell me some bullshit, I don't care. Give me a call at 323-763-0228. Once again, that's 323-763-0228. Thanks a lot.
This Might Help with Matt Braunger was created and hosted by me, Matt Braunger. Produced by Outer Circle Media. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.